Guys, what is a Jedi's favorite breakfast? Obi-Wan cannoli! Oh!
What weapon does a fat Jedi use?
What?
A heavy saber.
Oh! Do you have a joke?
Jackson is the joke.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 1313 Podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome back, all you Regs, and to all you Shinies. Welcome to the podcast. This is the podcast. Please, before we begin, make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You like this video, and you can leave a comment down below. We love your feedback. I'd like to hear from you guys. And if you want to hear, if you want us to hear from you more, make sure that you are in that Discord. Link is also in the description below. If I'm not active, it's because I can't log in on my phone. It's not letting me. So that's fun.
Yep.
Also, if you haven't already, be sure that you are following us on all of our social medias, that being Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And Twitch is also linked below. And if you want to keep yourself warm this winter, make sure that you are wearing some absolutely fire 1313 merchandise, also linked in the description below. Fellers, how's everybody's week?
Weekend was good. I shaved my beard this past week, so I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. No more Rebel Alliance, guys. It's just, I'm back to bald Tommy until probably November. So
Bald chin.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Bald Tommy.
It looked weird for the first couple days, but now I'm used to it again.
I haven't seen you that often since you shaved it, so it still looks weird to me.
It still looks so off to me. I told him that when he came into work.
Yeah. Anyways.
As myself, though, you'll see it on Tika's, but I got another tattoo.
Nice.
You did get it.
He got a tattoo.
I'm not a fan of it, but it is what
I never
it is.
said I wasn't a fan.
Jacob doesn't like it, and it's very obvious he doesn't like it. He never liked it when I showed him the idea. He went...
I think the placement is bad. I from the start I didn't think the placement was good.
Where would you have
we
rather
going into
had
it.
it?
We're going into the weeds.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Where would you rather had it?
I would rather you have that as a tramp stamp. I just think on your leg looks a little goofy.
Oh.
What fell in my pocket?
I think it's a nice kind of plot in the leg, because I still wanted to fill up my arm area, but I felt like that would just be too
All right,
much.
kids, we're going to need your help to get the rest of Jackson's sleeve done. So what we need you to do is in the comments, put your mom's credit card number on there, and then there's going to be a 3-digit number on the back.
Because voiceover Pete got sued for that.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
No.
He got a lawsuit over it.
I can't believe it. No, but the dude tattooing me yesterday as well was telling me that one of his buddies from high school came in and he got a grilled cheese in a hot tub of soup tattooed on.
That's pretty funny.
I saw something cool that I think would be a really nice piece to go right here on the opposite side of the forearm.
Okay.
But
Is it a Master Sword?
no, that would actually be cool. But
I was just thinking about that.
it was no, it's Anakin's lightsaber, but it had like some more details to go around it because I was like, oh, I feel like having a lightsaber on this side would be cool. But that's not something that's gonna happen for a long time. Nothing really happened to me this week. I had a couple shoots that I did. I was on 2 sets. One was my own and one was another group. I helped out a upperclassmen group of students film something, and there was actually like hired actors on the set. So it was like more professional than what I'm used to. So it was a lot of fun. And I got to hang out with my professor today, and he gave me a t-shirt for the production, and he had a batarang from The Dark Knight on his wall. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, nothing really.
Cool.
Oh, here's something interesting. I'm saying Viva Las Florida in like a day and a half.
Oh yeah, shoot.
And I'm going on a trip. I'm going to be in Florida at the exact same time as Hybrid Toy Reviews is going to be in Florida.
Should meet up with him, bro.
It's his. Everybody, make sure that you wish Hybrid Toy Reviews a happy birthday.
That is
on the 25th.
Happy birthday.
On the 25th.
The exact same day as my girlfriend.
That's whack, bro.
That is weird.
It must mean something.
He's my soulmate.
It must mean something.
Hey.
Anyway, so yeah, that's my week. So with that, we have a ton of Star Wars news to go into. Not only do we got news and rumors, but we also got, well, it's more than we had last week.
Yeah.
We got news and rumors as well as we have stuff for Bad Batch, but these news and rumors is leading up to, everybody say it with me now, Pedro Pascal month.
Oh!
Pedro Pascal month. Pedro Pascal. Yes, the Mandalorian is dropping.
Zaddy.
Is dropping Wednesday.
You can leave. You can just see
You don't
yourself
think
out.
Pedro Pascal is Zaddy, bro?
Don't.
On job, bro. He agrees.
You're just speaking internet right now,
Bro, when
You're
people are... I've been saying that, bro.
Period. I almost threw up in my mouth when I said
It's
that.
giving... It's
It's
giving hater vibes.
It's giving Chile. It's giving Pedro. No, let's never do that again.
Okay, but no. So Mando is dropping next Wednesday. What? It feels like the gap has just closed so quick. It feels like time has flown by, and I can't believe it's
And
almost
guess what's
here.
gonna happen?
Everybody's
The
gonna
1313 podcast is gonna drive themselves crazy for approximately 5 weeks straight,
Yep.
making you guys not one but 2 podcast episodes every single week.
Ah!
We're going to record on Wednesday and post it Thursday. We're going to record on Thursday and post it Friday. And it's going to be
And
really
then
fun for you
And then
guys.
there's gonna be Tico's on Saturday because Mando Monday's probably gonna happen again.
Yep.
So this is gonna be great.
So if you want your newest pair of Mando Crocs or Grogu flavored
Honey
chapstick
buns.
If you
or
want Grogu cereal straws, make sure that you are staying tuned for all the.
if you want your
Yep.
Mando and Grogu undergarments this season, make sure you go check out Mando
I do
Monday.
have those.
I actually have Stormtrooper undergarments. Jackson, what do
Awful.
you have?
I have matching...
I didn't ask. And so,
Man, y'all are evil as hell.
and so, yeah, guys, Mando
Your time
is
has
coming.
come. Yep. Right here.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is
Because
we're
real
doing-
friends tell their friends when they have something in their teeth.
Yep.
Yeah. We're going to have 2
Never seen
podcast
that.
episodes a week, guys. It's going to be a good
Yeah.
time. So,
Here?
No, one over. Ding. What? No. There.
you should see yourself out.
Want me to get it for you?
No, I'm fine. Nope.
Anyway.
Hey, that's
Anyway.
not cool.
So, news and rumors. We have some Jedi Survivor stuff actually.
Yeah.
we
Kick
missed
it off.
we missed this last
Yeah.
week.
There's an enemy list. Tommy knows more about
Yeah,
it.
so
I
there
didn't
was
see that.
like an enemy list. I forget what publisher.
Brian.
Figure Brian. He
Figure Brian
posted
on top
about it,
of
but it was like
everything.
from a publisher. My phone's dead, or else I'd look it up.
I got that 9%, so let's see.
But they have some repaints of some separatist droids that you'll fight in the game. A lot of these we saw in that gameplay demo, but it kind of goes into more detail about what these are. The battle droids, the B1s, are just kind of like the fodder, the equivalent to the stormtroopers from Fallen Order. And then we have the super battle droids, which are going to be your little bit tougher opponents. And then you have the commando droids, which are super cool. Those are going to be a lot more close combat, a lot more agile, a little bit more higher difficulty to fight. You're going to have droidicas to fight as well. And then there are a few other separatist droids. Magna Guards.
Yep.
I'm excited for that because hopefully we'll get them in the Black Series. I love Magna Guards.
Now they all have a uniform paint scheme, which makes me wonder what sort of legion or organization or faction they're under.
Probably the same guy.
Maybe
probably
like
the big bad.
Scrappers.
Mhm.
Since they have the droid like dome that we saw in Attack of the Clones, what's that called again?
Lucre Hulk.
Yeah, Lucrehold.
Well, and we also know that they announced who the big bad is for this game. I forget his name.
It's
but
a dude that's the same species as Dirge.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
very cool.
So
I didn't realize he was like the big bad.
Yeah. They said he's
That's
going to be
insane.
like the main enemy.
What happened to the guy that was like from the very first cinematic trailer that we got that kind of looked like an Inquisitor with the teeth?
yeah.
Where are you, Jedi? What happened to
Well,
that
I'm
guy?
sure we won't go through the whole game without seeing an
Oh, yeah.
Imperial presence somewhere, you
Mhm.
know.
I don't know. I'm excited, but we also had another gameplay drop
Yes.
of some lightsaber combat and combos.
Yeah.
It displayed the single-use combat, the dual wielding, the double-bladed, and the crossguard. And the crossguard looks to be like a double-handed kind of overpowering type of play style. So this is going to be really cool because now it's not just, oh, you're fighting with 2 blades and you're playing mega defensive, or you're playing with 1 blade, you're playing mega offensive. It's now you have different styles to choose from. So now it's going to better suit your play style, which I'm really excited about because that makes this game more approachable to more people. Because, say in a game like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, you have heavy weapons, light weapons, ranged weapons. You have a nice variety of stuff to choose from. you're now getting that option with this game. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah, I did end up catching the gameplay reel, like the 9-minute one that like IGN did, and I could not be more excited for this. Like, I'm going to make sure I pre-order it in advance so I can just have it installed and like ready to go. But I'm super duper hyped for this game. It looks like it's going to be amazing.
I agree. It looks dope.
There was also, were you going to say some more stuff about the Jedi?
No, I was going to probably talk about the thing you were about to mention.
Oh, yeah. So we also had another trailer drop for Tales from Galaxy's Edge for PlayStation VR 2. So this had some extended footage from stuff that has been in the base game. But there's also a First Order storyline. I don't know if that's been in the game because I haven't touched it in like a year and a half. So it's like, I don't know if that's been in the game, if that's new.
First Order stuff, you said?
Yeah, because
the First Order wasn't the first one. Because there was that really ugly looking commander.
With the 2 pauldrons.
Yeah, and like that weird like Commander Cody visor on the top.
I gotta play that game again, because I only got so far then, because I don't remember that stuff at all. Like,
I just saw pictures of that ugly looking commander. It's one of the most unappealing trooper designs I've ever seen.
But no, so that's coming to PlayStation VR 2. So if you're into that and you have a PlayStation, make sure that you pick up the game. It's worth a playthrough. I thought it was radically infuriating, but because
it's worth it. It was just bad though.
Oh no, the thing that's because if you're casual and you've never shot a gun before, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is fine. I can hip fire everything. I can eyeball it. But somebody at ILM Playable Studios is like, let's put every charge handle in the way of the sights. They're all sitting on the top of the blasters. You can't ADS at all, which is like the cool thing about having VR. So it made me quite angry, but what are you going to do? Play the game. It's a cool story.
Just going to have to Han Solo it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But there was also a new TV spot. So as you know, when the Mandalorian seasons come out, there's like every other day a new 30-second TV spot that gets dropped on all the social media, stuff that you would see on TV, like on cable, if you still do that. And it's just a way to draw more attention to the show. And every now and again, there will be a new shot or a new line that gets thrown in. And in a recent one that I saw a couple days ago, I thought this was really, really interesting. And I want to get you guys' take and see if we can maybe, do some theory crafting on it.
I don't like it.
Bo-Katan, it shows her on the throne of Mandalore, and she says to Din, there's one line she says, and you can see her talking, and then it cuts away from her, but she says, go home. And it sounds very not friendly. Now, this could be a diversion to get us to think that she's going to be fighting Din, but I think that she has already been being built up to be not an antagonist, but an adversary for Din in this season. And I think that it's going to be a big, big deal if that's actually something she says to him on Mandalore. Like, he's like, I need to take a bath under the planet's surface. And she says, go home. What do we do from there? Because we also got that clip.
There's the line of her saying there's nothing left as well.
Yeah.
So
that's what she says. There's nothing left. Go home.
Yep.
But I had this theory that it's actually not the throne of Mandalore. It is canon that the Kryze family is from one of the moons of Mandalore. It's a planet that's off of Mandalore. So how is there a throne on this planet that's a barren wasteland and we've seen that it's pretty much destroyed? I have a theory that Mando goes there first to tell her that that's where he's going, and it starts some sort of confrontation. That would explain as to why we have in some of the trailers there's the TIE interceptors following the Mandalorian like Arkwing or whatever starfighter,
Fang fighters.
The Fang fighter. It's fighting over a planet that has like lots of lakes and like these mountains, and it looks pretty misty in those shots. And in the shot that we see Mando speaking with Bo-Katan in that hallway, he's covered in rain. He's got water drops all over his helmet. So what explain as to why he's all wet on a planet that's supposed to be like a barren wasteland, because it wouldn't have a water cycle if there was nothing left to the planet. That's why they had the dome, because it was uninhabitable. Yeah. So that's my theory.
I'm kind of interested as well. In almost every single one of these like TV spot trailers that they put out, they keep emphasizing this scene with the Jedi. So I feel like maybe they're throwing it in there for the fact that like, holy cow, there's like Jedi in the trailer. Or the part that we're going to see with the Jedi is actually more important than we think. And it's going to be like a decent length and not just like a quick like, oh, here's a flashback on like maybe where Grogu came from. And
Watch
like
it be
all these
an
other
episode.
things.
Watch it be an entire
That
episode
would be
about
awesome.
Grogu's origin.
Yeah, what if this pool under Mandalore, what if Din ends up actually finding it and it's like strong with the Force? And when Grogu enters the water, it's like that scene in Thor. Is it Thor the Dark World where Thor goes into the water? Or is that Infinity War? Where Thor goes into the pool and like he's getting bathed. You know what I'm talking about?
It's got to be the Dark World because I don't remember that
in Infinity
Yeah,
War.
there was some, it's one of the movies Thor goes into the water and he has like this whole flashback. I think that will be something similar. Grogu goes into the water and he has like this whole flashback where you kind of, as the viewer, you experience what Grogu has been through. And you get to kind of, and again, like you said, it could be a whole episode, maybe from the perspective of Grogu.
That would be pretty cool. And then we're going to see Anakin in the middle. No.
I mean, maybe. You don't know.
Who's behind that door? Who's cutting that door down? I still think it would be really cool if it was the Mandalorian stealing the Darksaber, because that's something that would be awesome.
I think that's the cooler theory of the two, because we know already that Grogu did get taken from the temple.
But who took him? That's a mystery.
I do want explanation on that, but I would rather
it was Mace Windu. He's alive.
I'd much rather see like explanation on how the Darksaber was stolen from the Jedi Temple. Because it's a high security place. I mean, we saw Cad Bane infiltrate it, but he had help, you know? So,
and we've seen it just like in a 2D wall painting in the Clone Wars. So I'd like to get that elaborated on.
I agree.
That would be nice. And it's crazy to think that Mando's just next week. I'm so excited.
We also got that clip, that 1 minute clip from The Mandalorian 2 on Navarro, where he's talking to Grief Karga. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of nothing was revealed. Except
my boy
for Grogu. Grogu is like me at work because the chairs be spinning.
And he eats M&Ms now.
Yep.
Space M&Ms.
Space M&Ms.
Yeah. So that was, it was a nice little, we see that Din talks to Grief and says that he's, what's the word he uses? It's not out. Yeah, like in an apostate. He's basically been banished by the religion. So maybe he does go to Mandalore or the moon, and Bo-Katan tells him to leave, and he's just like, "All right, I guess I'll leave."
Okay.
But he was saying that he needs to go, like he needs to go somewhere, and Grief is trying to get him to stay. So I wonder how maybe that, bro. I think I just figured it out.
What did you
maybe Bo-Katan and Din do have that confrontation, and Bo-Katan and Din narrowly escapes, goes to Navarro, because isn't it Navarro where we see Bo-Katan land with the Night Owls, and they're like fighting all the people and like fighting in that cityscape?
Yeah, they are.
Because we know that Navarro is
much IG statue that's crumbled.
Navarro is much more prosperous than it was. And yeah, that IG statue that was there is now crumbled. So maybe they're going there to maybe try and not kill him, but maybe steal the Darksaber from him. And then it's the Children of the Watch, and that's why Paz Vizsla's also there, because they're there to help Din, even though he didn't succeed. Maybe they're there to or either also take the Darksaber, or maybe they're there...
Maybe because they recognize the Darksaber's rule.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to defend him.
Either way, I honestly don't think Mando's gonna get to this pool in...
like right away.
Well, at all.
Yeah.
Because that's the big buildup of season 2, is him realizing that his relationship with Grogu is greater than his devotion to his creed. That's why he takes off his helmet, so he can look upon him once before he thinks he's never going to see him again. And they undid that with Book of Boba by bringing Grogu back. I don't want them to undo that about Mando as well, because then it's exactly like what happened in The Last Jedi with the helmet smashed of Kylo Ren and then it just being soldered back together in the next movie. Why did you have something happen if you're immediately going to undo it the next time you see it?
Yeah.
I would rather not him find this pool, and I'd rather see his character progress from there, living with this, I'm an apostate, but he can get accepted by other clans of Mandalorians, or just rely on the fact that he is a clan of 2. Do we think Grogu is going to say a single word in this season?
No, I think that Grogu is going to get his Mandalorian helmet, and I think Din is going to, again, we've talked about Din Djarin kind of being this in-between of the two extremes, which are Bo-Katan's group and the Armorer's group. They're two extremes of the Mandalorian creed. It's almost like... Bo-Katan
is the Democratic Party, and the Armorer is the Republican Party.
Let's not.
And Din Djarin is the guy that registered as independent.
No, honestly though, but you hear about people that leave like religious cults and stuff where that escape from these very extreme like when I've seen people talk about, there's documentaries, because I do that. I watch documentaries like a loser.
I watched one on Mormonism.
If you've ever, again, they leave the Amish, they leave like Mormon communities, and you hear them talk about all this stuff. Like if you do this simple thing, you get kicked out. If you do this simple thing, you get kicked out. And it's like, oh, I made a mistake, but now I'm kicked out and I'm banished and my family won't talk to me anymore. I think that this is a very similar message in Din's story. So I think that Din is going to realize what's actually... I think Jacob's on the perfect right track here.
Yeah, at least I hope it is, because I'd rather not see his character revert, because then it's everything that happened in season 2 just happened to look cool. Yeah. It doesn't actually contribute to the plot.
Well, keep in mind, he was on this quest initially. He didn't have Grogu back yet, So then now that he has Grogu back, this might change his mind about feeling the need to have that sense of belonging and needing to atone.
Because he just returned to his clan of 2 type thing.
I just still think the whole thing is funny. Go take a bath on Mandalore. That's literally what they told him to do.
Touch grass.
I feel like at least, what if the whole idea of that he needs to go to the pool is just the plot for like the beginning few episodes?
I think that's what
I think. They're gonna they're tricking us with the trailers into thinking that's what the whole thing is.
This show always does that. It always does.
Perfect.
And what's the point of him? We see him rallying with other not tribes, but families of Mandalore. Like he's going with other groups and meeting up with them and like almost like recruiting. What is he recruiting for? Is he getting his own group together to fight against Bo-Katan and also the Children of the Watch? Like what? I'm very interested. I'm so intrigued. It could go so many ways. And so could the Bad Batch.
I didn't think we were ever going to get to it.
We get to it eventually.
Today's episode was okay. I thought the kid was so freaking annoying.
I didn't actually mind him, to be honest with you.
I hated his voice. I think his voice did it.
I'm kind of leaning on the Jacob side because I was just like, I didn't really care for the kid and his struggle. I was like, boo, fella, you're poor and you're a slave, basically. Oh, you want to crab your one bowl of soup you get for all the week's worth you did?
There goes my job at Disney. One sentence right there. I'm not with him.
Speaking of that, there were people, we posted a TikTok last week of Jackson saying the clones do not deserve attention. There were some crazy comments on that TikTok that we were laughing at.
There were some people that were very, very upset about what he said.
Jackson did receive a couple death threats. Yep. People were saying that Jackson supported slavery, as well as some other comments in there as well. So, thank you for the laughs. Yes. We enjoyed those comments.
See, people forget sarcasm exists.
That was not sarcasm. Don't even act like it was.
You do not play that card. But to the same point, though,
don't play the JK. It's just a prank card.
It's a goofy Star Wars opinion.
Yeah,
I just think it's funny. Some people people take their clone troopers seriously.
Why would you say that? Why?
You've made an enemy, someone said. Anyways, okay. But yeah, I'm be honest. Episode was fun. It was nice. Again, it was nice to see an episode of The Bad Batch with a plot that carried more than one episode. Mm-hmm. That was nice.
It was nice to get an arc finally that wasn't just main story.
I'm gonna be honest though. I think I have developed my opinion on. I think that we have been experiencing the main story of season 2 this entire time. So here's my take. So season 1 of The Bad Batch, the main story was the Bad Batch is on the run from the Empire. That's what they did the entire season. Whether, even if there were side missions in there, they were ultimately on the run from the Empire until the Battle of Camino. The destruction of Camino. And then now in season 2, Omega says it at the end of the episode, and I thought it was pretty powerful what she said. She mentions that corruption is not just coming from the Empire. There was this big power vacuum that came when the Republic became the Empire, because all these planets that used to be separatist planets are kind of left in this limbo of being taken over and, usurped by the Empire. A lot of the arcs that we saw in season 1 had stuff to do directly with the Empire, whether it was Ryloth or many of the other planets we saw. Really, in this season, the only one we did see was with Crosshair. A lot of these other planets, they're dealing with corruption and power vacuums with other groups and other factions, and we're seeing that happen. So I think, honestly, that has been the main story of this season, and we were so focused on the overarching story, which is what's happening to the clone troopers. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that's not a thing. I do think that the overarching story here is how the Empire is changing and what happens to the clone troopers. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I do think that, because once I looked back at the season, I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. We see the Wookiees. We see these people on this planet that we're on right now in the middle of Arizona. We see some of the other communities and storylines that we've seen throughout the season that I can't remember the names of the people for because they were kind of forgettable, but I've only watched it twice, so I can't call it that forgettable. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, yeah, you got a point, but also story bad, clone good, more Empire please. No, it's like, yeah, I get that you can do that. I just hate the framework that it's like, oh, it's Sid doing jobs for Sid. I think the root of my anger comes from I just don't like Sid.
What's gonna happen here when they go back? Because Sid was supposed to pick them up, and they ended up.
They're gonna go back to Sid.
I really hope they don't. I really hope they don't, and I hope next episode is about Crosshair.
They do. They do still have their Ipsium too, as far as we know.
That's actually right. They didn't have to get rid of it unless it was rated.
Oh no. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I thought for sure that this episode they were gonna have to give up their Ipsium to get their ship back. I thought for sure, man. But no, they actually didn't. And so who knows? Maybe that's gonna be a forgotten plot device. They're gonna get back to Ord Mantell.
It's gonna be nothing. But I hope they use it and they're like, we're gonna buy back our freedom. They're gonna be like, here's your money, and then we're leaving. If anything, because I'm so sick of Sid. And they're gonna be like, we're leaving. They just be like, no, you're not. And I call the Empire. And
bro, she very well put it at this point.
And Darth Vader's on his way. And then we get to see Darth Vader.
I don't think that would happen. No. But I would be really intrigued to either, I think Jacob or Tom just said this, that if the next episode was based on Crosshair and something he did, or I really strongly feel like the next episode is going to be go back to Sid, complain why you didn't help, get mad at Sid, and then either A, help Sid with something, or B, ditch Sid and go somewhere else. It's definitely not going to be ditch Sid and go somewhere else. We've been saying that all 2 seasons so far.
This is what's going to happen. You left us for dead. Stop your whining. I got a job for you. And then they're going to go, okay. And they're going to go on a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen.
And we're going to be like, that was a good episode.
They'll go, it was a good episode. I'll be like, ah.
Well, there are 6 episodes left in this season, and we know the last 2 are going to be the 2-part season finale.
Yes.
So we have 4 episodes between now and then, 4 more weeks of figuring out what the Bad Batch is going to do next.
See, I will very strongly say the only thing I really dislike about this season of the Bad Batch in particular is there have been almost no story arcs. Like, every episode is a story in the resolution. I mean, we got the resolution to this, and like you were saying too, I was happy it spanned a 2-episode thing, besides being the intro or the mid-season finale, and then the finale's gonna do that. But I almost miss how in the Clone Wars it's a story told over 3 or 4 episodes, depending on what it is.
Pretty much everything is. Like, the single one-off stories are like a rarity in the Clone Wars. And this season, at least, it's commonplace.
However, I feel like at the same time, though, for what the Clone Wars was, I guess it makes sense to tell stories in an arc. Or in the Bad Batch, they're trying to move this story forward a lot more and progress it quicker. So that's why it has to be like a conflict and a resolution every single episode, because we wouldn't be where we are in the Bad Batch right now if it wasn't for it being the conflict and resolution. So I'm happy with the placement. I just kind of want it a little bit more drawn out, but maybe that's just not the way they're approaching it.
I guess the way I look at it, it's like, looking back at this season so far.
Yes.
With the jobs they've done, I'd rather it just be like knowing what has happened now. The only one I would have maybe wanted to stretch more than one episode was the Gunji one, because I feel like that one had more substance because it dealt more directly with the Empire. But I'm looking back, I'm honestly, I'm happier that they just resolved themselves in one episode, because like, you know, especially like the racing one, or the treasure hunting one. Imagine if those would have been 2 or 3 episodes instead of just one. That
would have been hard. I do agree.
I think I don't know. I think I'm gonna throw my I disagree card in again, because although it's like, yeah, we have these episodes that they're one episode where it's like story resolution.
Yeah.
I feel like I've said in the past, I think the story building that we did get from those episodes were quite shallow, and then we had this episode that was a 2 arc, and this is where I can say yes, definitely, indeed, we had a massive break in the character that is Tech, and finding out how he copes with different things and why he acts like how he does. I think that was the most character building and the most paradigm shift that we've seen in a character this entire season. But the thing is, it's not like any other episodes led up to it. The only thing that you can maybe claim was how he was nonchalant about the pod racers. That could have built up to it, him just being like, oh, you didn't think I could do it? I could do it. Or with him being like, oh, our ship, it's gone. Oh, well. That all led to this one moment. So I could see why maybe, yeah, you could pull character building from that. But everything else I felt was rather shallow. I could look at it and go, this was a fun story and I enjoyed it. But if I'm like looking at it from like a main storytelling point of view, I still don't really feel like the single one-off episodes contributed to the characters or to a main story. I think they were just fun to watch.
I mean, I disagree, because I think the one-offs serve a point for character development.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Although they do, I just think that the character development that is seen in it is rather shallow. It's not like very tough. Like, for example, like the Wookiee episode. Yeah, we know that the Wookiees and the Trandoshans are enemies. We know what's been happening to the Wookiee planet from Jedi Fallen Order. It's not a secret that the Empire's taken over it and they're just using it for resources. None of the Bad Batch really built from that, other than they help people and they stop forest fires.
See, I took a lot from that episode at the end, specifically for Hunter and for Omega. Omega is learning more things. That a lot of this is serving the purpose of helping her grow as a child. Again, like I have to keep reminding myself that Omega still is a kid, because as my young adult mind, I'm just thinking that everyone thinks like me and everyone like has developed their brain as much as I have. But like Omega is like 12 or 13, so she's still figuring life out, so she's not really going to learn much from a bunch of soldiers. So it's good to have these outside influences on her, specifically when the Wookiee elder is telling Hunter and Tech at the end of that episode. He's like, hey, the Wookiee elder, she says something along the lines of like, it's good to have a place where you belong. It's good to have a place where you can go. And that carries over to Omega's strong feeling of, we need to get our ship back in these last couple episodes, because that is their home. And you see how emotional she gets about it. It just goes to show it's very important for a child to have a place to call home, and to have a place that they can feel comfortable in and feel like they belong in and have that family. And we're seeing a lot of stuff deteriorate for Omega. The ship was lost for a little bit. Echo was gone for a little bit. So
Echo's still gone. What do you mean?
Echo's still gone. We're still dealing with this, and it's still evolving. So I think for that episode, it was a lot. I think with episodes like that, I think I'm focusing more on what's happening for the characters as a group and how it's going to affect them going forward, and the little messages that are sprinkled throughout, rather than the episodes like the mid-season finale, which are very much about what's happening in the bigger galaxy right now. And the Bad Batch is more of like a plot device for that bigger story that's going on.
Yep. Although, yeah, I mean, I guess I could see that. Yeah. Especially for Omega. I think the one thing that kind of blinds me to seeing that at all is Omega is experiencing something new for the first time in every single episode.
She's never been anywhere.
She's always learning something new, and she's always like learning new things from new people. So that's a constant in this series. So that's why I guess when I do try to make my points about it, I kind of negate it, because it is always happening in the background. It's like when you take your toddler to the zoo. Everything they see is new for the first time. They're always, wow, tiger. whoa, gorilla. That's Omega. Omega, everywhere she goes, is, whoa, what's this? What's this? What's this? Yeah, she's getting mature in the way that she handles herself, but everything's still new to her.
She was, especially like as the episodes go on, she is becoming, even though she is a kid, her character is getting a lot more mature. In this episode, the way she was carrying herself and handling herself, I was just as invested in Omega as I was the rest of the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Which is nice because it makes her like, because all of us, when we were first seeing the show, was like, oh, she's going to be an annoying character. She's just going to be the plot point of, oh, we got in trouble every single time. And yeah, she was that for just a little bit in season 1, but she can handle her own. Yep. Hunter even lets her go to the tower
with Benny.
Yep. Without even questioning it. He's just like,
he thought about it for a second. But in season 1 or earlier, even earlier this season,
it would be like, no, we're sticking together. But he trusts her now, so
yeah, I do like to see the development of Omega that way, where it's like she can hold her own and do her own things, and the Batch doesn't need to worry about her every single time.
Mm-hmm. Something that's a little bit morbid, but I do think would be pretty cool to see, is that sometime in the future, if this show continues on past 3 seasons. And all of the Bad Batch die, I would like to see Omega as an adult. Like, what do they do then?
Like an end of Rebels kind of thing?
Kinda, but like more expanded on rather than just like the last 30 seconds of the last episode. I would kind of like to see, like, where do they go?
Right.
Are they going to be old enough to participate in the New Republic in the Mandoverse? Are they going to live to see the sequels? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I guess that is a decently interesting.
Because you got to think,
she'd be the same age as Boba, yeah, in the sequel stuff for sure.
Same age as Boba, but also not too much older than Luke Skywalker. You got to think Luke is like at this point in time, like what, maybe like 3? She's got 10 years on him.
Yeah, she's got something like 10 years on him. Yeah.
So I don't know. That could be possible.
Interesting.
I like that idea.
Because I think it would be... Because there's a comic series right now about TMNT where all of the turtles die except for one. And I'm pretty sure it's...
The Ronin.
Yeah, the Ronin.
Yeah.
But it's like they carry on with attributes from all the other Ninja Turtles. I think it'd be really cool to see a Ronin-type story told through Omega.
And then he commits seppuku at the end of the comic.
Well,
spoiler alert for the Ronin guys.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
And since we're spoiling it, I'm also pretty sure it's Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went through
the coolest though.
I went through a TMNT phase as a kid.
We all did. We all did. Was it the 3D animated movie that did it to you?
No, I had back when you would burn DVDs and like give a copy of a DVD to someone. I had the old cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah, the 80s cartoon.
We had the 3D animated. I think 2005,
I don't know, dude.
6 is when it came out.
Yeah.
And,
I also watched those weird live action Turtles movies.
We did too.
Those old ones.
They're fire though.
They're way better than the Michael Bay one in my opinion.
That movie is horrendous.
Yeah. Like, that does not do the Turtles justice.
No, that movie is like actually bad.
Who at Hasbro gave this man the right to not just butcher Transformers but also butcher TMNT?
TMNT is a Hasbro property?
TMNT.
Yeah, you didn't know.
No, it's not. I'm stupid. I lied.
I was gonna say McFarlane because the twins.
Yeah. Idiot. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Speaking of Tommy not being prepared and not knowing what he's talking about, there was an interview last week or the week before that was done. I don't know if it was Vanity Fair or another magazine that consistently does stuff with Star Wars. But they interviewed D. Bradley Baker about the Bad Batch. And D. Bradley Baker had some pretty interesting things to say about this last leg of Season 2. He said that there are going to be a lot of twists, and he said, basically in his words, it really picks up in these last few episodes. So there's going to be a lot of moments where it's just the viewers are going to be he said the viewers will be very happy.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like what if it's going to pick up for all this, and then at the end it'll be like, and bam, you'll see it more in Season 3 of like what the action is.
Probably.
I mean, I'd be fine with that.
I'm still just kind of annoyed that Mando and Bad Batch are coming out at the same time. I wish they would have staggered the release. I wish Bad Batch would be released on Wednesdays and Mando would be on Fridays.
Yup.
That would, be fantastic. Because
I
I miss the Fridays. I miss the
Missed
Fridays.
the Friday, dude.
I would have even been okay with if they would have, because Bad Batch is going to end in sometime in April. If they would have just taken those few weeks off and then started Mando on May the 4th, I would have been cool with that. You know, just to give us some time to breathe in between the two shows. But now we're going to be working overtime for about a month to
You know what?
keep you guys posted.
No, this is where it's gonna start. I'm gonna start a petition, and I'm gonna need everybody watching this to sign it. There's gonna be in the description of this video. There will be a petition to make Disney make these uploads for Fridays again, because there was nothing better than starting your weekend right with Star Wars. It was like, oh my gosh, I just got through the entire week, and not only is it Friday, the day I don't have to work, like the weekend is coming, but I got Star Wars to wash it down. So Star Wars in the morning to start my day, Star Wars after work so I can decompress to start this weekend. It was immaculate, and they took it away from us. And this has been a tradition in our family since the Clone Wars was airing on Cartoon Network back in 2008. Fridays were the days that we got home from school, because we weren't allowed to watch TV on school nights because we had homework to do. So we could watch the Clone Wars. We could watch all the cartoons, the Ben 10, the Thundercats. Oh my gosh, it was the best moments of my life, and I didn't even know it. So Disney, please bring it back.
I still think that was one of the weirdest and dumbest.
It came
and
out
they
of
did
nowhere.
it. They did it because they wanted their new movies on Disney Plus to release on Friday.
And they came out with like 3.
No one cares,
There's
bro.
no new movies. It
No one
literally does
cares.
not make any sense at this point still.
Stupid mouse, the stupid
Bob
Disney.
Iger.
Don't say that. He's probably going to be my boss. I hope he's going to be my boss.
Fix this, Bob Iger.
He's Marvel.
Disney, do better.
Oh wait, no, you're right. No, what? No, I'm right.
The
I'm
mouse
right.
is literally
I'm right because Bob
canceling
Iger does own Marvel, so I'm right.
Yeah, but he's the CEO of Disney.
I know, but he also owns Marvel, so I was right from a certain point of view.
You know what I really liked about the Bad Batch episode?
Like about the Bad Batch episode.
I really liked that Gonki actually did something.
Yes!
Character building of
Gonki!
Gonki supremacy.
That was actually a really smart idea on Omega's part too. Like I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, what are they just gonna stumble upon their ship? Like I knew there was no way they weren't gonna get it back. You know?
Tampa, Florida type landscape they got out there, that whole village, bro.
It reminded me a lot of Coruscant with the way it went down.
Yeah, that was cool. And I honestly liked how it ended because I was expecting them to have to like blast their way out of the ray shield door and like, oh, now we have to go get Omega and save her. But
Didn't
like
have to do a thing.
again, the messaging it's dumbed down because it's a cartoon, but it is messaging about corruption and you know the people that are in charge hiding things from the people doing all the work.
So make sure that you question your local politicians.
Anyway,
The mouse is not hiring you now.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it was a great ending. I thought Mako died like really quickly. Like, it was like kind of like
He wasn't likable to begin with.
grabs him with the
His face
hash
was
slinging
ugly.
slasher hand. And he's like, you shouldn't have double crossed me, kid. And then like I thought, oh my gosh, is the kid gonna die too? Like he's a martyr. And then dude with the neck tattoos just grabs him, and then he.
They all have neck tattoos.
His droids were cool. They had
I like that double that double
That
thing.
was-
the equal sign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also
Because
really
he's
liked.
the resolution. Oh wow!
I also really liked the whole thing about the commando droids that are not commando droids.
Yeah,
Those were neat.
I thought they were commandos at first.
I was like, they got commando legs, and I saw the heads. I'm like, I guess they're not commandos, but
it was
they
Techno
were?
Union still though, so I guess that's why it was a weird design because they did their own like amalgamations, like the flying
Goofy
droids
hand.
that we see on Skeko Minor.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah,
Because they
The
look like
stinky
B1
minor.
battle droids, they're just refurbished for Skeko Minor. So then those
Yeah.
droids were commando
They're
droids,
B1
but then
pterodactyls.
refurbished for those mines.
well, you have to remember too. A lot of the companies that make these droids will make different things for different purposes.
Yep, exactly.
So they probably it's probably the same company that makes the commando droids. They just plopped a different head on it
what
and
I
said,
said.
"It's for
also,
mining."
yeah, we also have to remember the fact that these droids were not only built just because of the Separatists. They were a known thing in Episode 1 when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were looking at them on that Trade Federation ship. They're like, battle droids. Like, they already knew what they were, so they
Yeah.
had to have been kicking for a couple of years before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Star Wars.
Good
Always
old
just
Star
that's
Wars.
good reuse for Hasbro when they decide to not release the season 2 appearances of the Bad Batch, but they'll make sure they release that that when they make the commando droid that comes out this year,
Please,
when they make the
bro,
commando droid,
please.
yeah, I've already accepted that because again, it's like Jedi Survivor has all the separatists now, so it's like they can do easy repaints for gaming greats, so they have an excuse.
They could do the super battle droid too.
Not only that, but you have this nice pristine 3D model that has just been created of all of them with jointed articulation already built into the model for the purpose of throwing it on a frame.
And not to mention, you also have multiple appearance options from Battlefront 2 for every single one of these.
Yep.
So you can also do tons of repaints for that game as well.
For gaming grades, and then you can throw them in the main line for like Attack of the Clones.
You can repack them for prequel anniversaries.
Yup.
You can repack them.
It's unfathomable that they haven't done it already.
Just do it.
It really is.
Just do it.
That
Just
Micro
do it.
Galaxy Squadron. They're just knocking at my door. They're like, let us in. Let us into your wallet. Let us in.
They really
Open
are.
your door.
Open
your door.
We haven't got anything new from the I can't remember the name of it. The Galaxy Squad.
Mission Fleet?
Mission
The Mission
Fleet. We haven't
Fleet.
got anything new from them in a minute.
Too bad. Mission
No.
Fleet can get smoked, bro.
Do you think
Micro Galaxy's doing better.
Do you think Mission Fleet is getting kind of replaced by Macro Galaxy?
No. Here's my reason why. Because Mission Fleet's geared towards kids, and Micro Galaxy Squadron is clearly geared towards adult collectors. I mean, with the chase variants and the rares and like the ships that they're choosing and what they're choosing to do with their marketing, it's very much geared toward an adult collector, as opposed to Mission Fleet is very clearly for children.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ever noticed, like when you're in the toy aisle of a store, how it's like they're slated for what age you are and what you would be purchasing? Like the younger kids, all the little kids' toys are on the lower level, so that's like what they can see, and all like the collectible figures are on higher levels.
Yeah,
I guess that's a good point.
Not to mention, as you go like from one end to the other of the whole section, there's like the baby toys and then young kids' toys, and then you get into like Hasbro stuff, which is like, again, like you said, it's split.
I hope Toys R Us comes back. I really do. I know they got the Toys R Us US website up and running because I got an ad for it and I checked to see if they had anything Black Series on there, and they didn't. They just had the Brickheads, Mando and Grogu on there. But no, I have clear memories of turning down that aisle and just seeing like mega pegs of all those Star Wars figures.
Yep.
Like having an entire like 2 walls of nothing but Star Wars. And that wasn't even including Lego.
It was a different time to be alive, dude, because nowadays you got to think about it. Like the closest thing you had to like play, I mean, you had video. It was weird because you had video games,
But it wasn't as popular.
But it like, I mean,
now.
it was super popular. But like, I mean, you also had like Skylanders and like Disney Infinity, which like married toys and video games together.
Yeah.
And that was like it was a fad at the time, but like it was very, very popular when it was a thing.
It was like the silly bands. You remember silly bands?
Yeah.
I remember silly bands. I used to collect those in 4th grade.
I remember kids would have so many on their arms that their hands would turn purple, and then they banned them at our school because kids were stealing them, and kids were like trading and buying them from each other.
Squishies, bro.
Oh my gosh, like the pencil toppers. Like do you not remember those?
I remember them.
Like the little, like the really
Those
gummy
were
pencil
gas.
toppers. There was those. I remember like they were like these little like plastic ninjas at one point.
Yeah,
the ninjas.
ninjas.
Yeah, or the little green Martians that you could get at the little quarter machines.
Just like little trinkets became such a fad across the entire U.S.
I had tons of them.
There was
Little
that.
capsule. They were like the gotcha machines, but American.
Yeah.
It was super. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And don't even get us started on Pokemon, Bakugan, and Beyblade.
Dude, you better chill out because
Dude,
I had a
yeah,
phase
you
on all
gotta
those.
chill.
Like we all did.
Second and third grade, it was Bakugan. I watched the anime. I was Dan Kuso for Halloween, bro. My grandma is a seamstress, and she made me a custom costume.
Wow.
And then I had long hair, so we did my hair. My dad gelled it all up to look like it too. And
That's
I
cool.
did like the gloves with the Bakugan. This was back before they made the Bakugan bigger, when they were smaller at first.
Yeah.
And I did the thing you did in all the pictures.
I have only one that's still part of that small line. It was the aqua green kind of like the amphibian dude.
Aquarius.
Oh, the is it the greenish one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Ventus attribute.
Yes.
I don't know why I remember all this stuff.
I don't remember any of the attributes.
I remember
I can tell you
Darkest
all
because
of
it was
them.
my favorite because it was edgy.
I remember we had a Bakugan game on Wii, and they had a versus mode on it. And
Dude,
Jackson
I'd
would
kick your
he would whoop
ass.
me every time because he played it more than I did. Because at the same time we had that game, we had, I believe it was Indiana Jones and like the Staff of Kings is what it was, and I would play a ton of that game, and Jackson would play a ton of that game, and then like when we would go up against each other, Jackson had like the final Bakugan that you get from being the final boss, and he had it like leveled up, and I had like only like the intro ones.
I had that game for the DS. I also had a Beyblade game for the DS that came with. I think his name was Cyber Pegasus. It was its own Beyblade.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Do you remember the Hot Wheels racing game that we had?
Yes.
We had on the Wii, because we didn't have like a normal racing game because it's the Wii. It was Hot Wheels, so like all the tracks were all orange, like it was but it was like these actual environments. That game was fun too. I remember kicking your butt in that one.
Yeah, that was. But then also, for some reason, in 5th grade, I had a Magic the Gathering phase.
I never got into it. I never did.
It's super, super fun. And, like, if I didn't play D&D, like, that would probably be my fix for that, like, realm. Because Magic was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. I have a deck. I have, it was this Burger King toy.
Yeah.
For Yu-Gi-Oh, where it was like if you pull the drawer out, sometimes the cards would come out with
yeah.
it. So it's like it was like a hidden drawer thing. But I have like a stack of Magic cards that somebody gave me or like somebody didn't want, or like I got at a garage sale. I can't remember, but I have like a stack, and I remember I wanted to get into it at one point, but it just kind of fell off, and I never really cared too much.
Do you remember? I see it on TikTok every now and again. This guy and his friend play Star Wars Tactics.
Dude, give me 1 second.
Because I never knew what it was called. When you see it, you'll know. I never knew what it was called, but I had a bunch of them. I think I had the ATRT too.
Tactics?
That's one of them. Star Wars Tactics. Oh,
yeah.
These things.
I watched these two guys play, and I'm like, this actually looks like a fun game. Like, it actually looks
crazy.
Really cool.
We actually, you can't see it on camera, but on this opposing wall, we have it's like a 3-inch scale Millennium Falcon
3 3/4 scale.
Yeah.
So, but with that, it was like a guy that was at our church, and he was like offloading a ton of Star Wars stuff. And this was sitting in the Millennium Falcon. He had a bunch of like other miniatures.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff.
Like this Darth Vader. Like there's just like a bunch of miscellaneous.
Oh, those were called like Battle Squad something.
No idea, dude.
I think this droid's pretty cool.
I had that. I had a ton of those. We just threw them all away recently because they were all like destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah, those were dope.
They're really cool.
Star Wars toys in the early 2000s, it's like unbeatable. Like that was in my opinion,
you can't beat these.
Galactic Heroes. The Galactic Heroes.
This was from the Galactic Heroes board game.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Because I remember we had the cards for it.
Came out with the release.
We
of
would
the Clone
argue
Wars movie.
who could be the clone trooper.
Yeah, we would argue about it.
Well, dude, here's my thing: is like, I mean, I think that Star Wars collecting and toys is on the up and up now, and it's like because now we have Micro Galaxy Squadron, now we have Mission Fleet, now we have Black Series is doing fantastic, TVC looks fantastic. I think we're at a point excuse me, where we're like starting to get there again, but I don't think we'll ever be back at the point we were like when we were kids. We didn't even realize it. We were at the complete peak of Star Wars merchandise.
We had it so good.
Yeah.
We didn't even realize
we took it for granted because we didn't know that 15 years later we would be saying
we got
this
these
on a
now.
podcast.
We got Black Series figures.
Dude, I got a figure with my head on it.
Those are pretty sweet.
Custom figures are pretty sick.
It's I think we're seeing a reprisal of it because statistics show that the youth and young adults are investing more money into physical and collectibles rather than stocks and bonds. So I feel like places like Hasbro are really trying to cash in on this, especially by doing like exclusives more and things like that.
The other thing is that
store exclusives to bring up prices.
We we were the kids that were getting all those toys. So we are seeking that same thing in our adult collecting. Yep. And it, like you said, because of COVID, collecting exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it went from just like a niche hobby to like every guy that I know collects a thing. Like whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or something. Well, yeah, you also hang out with incels, but
I don't know a lot of people that like collect, but I know people that have like trinket hobbies or
that's
like,
what I mean. Like they have a thing.
Or like lots of people now are like, I feel like more and more like this is a big thing at Edinburgh. Lots of people play Smash like hella competitively.
Yeah.
Like Smash is like, there's one kid that I had classes with that his entire dream is to be the best Smash player in the world.
That's so funny.
I'm like, he's not that good. But it's like, no, it's just, I feel like a bunch of different things that were like dreams as kids through COVID, because everybody was bored, everybody kind of relapsed to them. That's like, I feel like that's another reason why we're sitting here doing the podcast. I believe everybody at this table had a fantasy of being a YouTuber one day when they were
That was
younger.
the thing, man. When you were 8 to 10 years old, I was watching YouTube and I was pretending I was a Minecraft YouTuber while I did my Minecraft Let's Play.
There's some very nice deleted videos on my personal channel of me in 5th grade trying to do Let's Plays.
When I was in 5th grade and I got my iPod Touch, if anybody knows what that is, I used to have a show called The Awkward Show, and I was the host, and it was literally just like 2-minute clips of me just like having little skits and bits where I would just go around the house and record myself or other things. And I did a Cartoon Network intro for myself, and it's super cringe, but like it's pretty funny.
Patrons, you'll probably get it. Patrons, you'll probably get to see it.
We need that ASAP.
I believe it's still on my personal channel. There's this wonderful video of Jax and I went to our local like nature center, and they had like a workshop of doing stop motion animation.
That's cool.
And we did a Lego stop motion called like Quest for the Spork, because we had Legos, and then just in my coat pocket I had like this little spork for some reason, so we made it kind of like the treasure at the end.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's still up on that channel. I comment every so often on our videos as like the alias. So if you can figure out which one's me, you can have.
Probably not that hard.
It's not. No, it's probably not that hard at all. But if you can figure out which one it is, you can watch all the stuff that's on that channel. There's that. There's a video of me at a concert, and I believe there's a report that I did for a college class when I was.
You'll get $1 million.
Yep.
You'll get a nice kiss on the lips.
Anyways,
we've
derailed, but Bad Batch next week I'm really excited for,
Bad
as
Batch
usual.
And Mando next week.
And it's all gonna happen, and we're gonna lose our minds to give you guys content.
And you guys are gonna eat it up.
Woo!
If we don't reach 1,000 subscribers in the amount of time that Mando is airing, I'm going to. Never mind.
Don't say something.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the podcast. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. And I forgot to mention this, we got a Patreon, and at the beginning of every month we do a nice giveaway. So on Mando Day, we're gonna be giving away this is my Micro Squadron's gunship.
Speaking of Micro Squadrons,
Yep. So if you want to win it, make sure that you're in the Patreon in the Gungan Boss tier.
Yep.
To all of you that are already patrons, we love you. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. Also, if you haven't already, make sure that you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. Buy some merch. Link is in the description below. We make like almost no money off it, so just buy it if you think it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Tweet at us. Join the Discord.
Deuces, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Dun 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 hum da da hum da da hum dum dum da hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum da ba do ba do ba do ba do ba dum ba ba dum ba dum ba do ba dum ba do ba dum dum hum da dum hum dum 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 da dum hum da dum hum dum dum dum